Hey there guys, welcome back. It is Apex Predator here. So this is round 7 of season 2 of the Nations Championship. It's group 3 cars, 15 laps of Dragon Trail Gardens, brilliant track, one of my favourite tracks. And as you can see, I'm using the Hyundai Genesis, so I've not really driven this car before. I did a bit of practice using the 911 and using the Evo, and the Renault as well actually, but I have to do a 2-stop with the Renault and I don't think I'm fast enough to get the best out of the 2-stop. So I thought the Genesis might be a good car to try. It's going to be very stable on the curbs, it's going to be a pretty solid all-rounder, and I've not driven it before, so I thought why not? Why not? Let's give it a go. So, alright, that didn't go very well as you can see from the qualifying. We're starting at the back of the grid, but let's see what we can do in the race. Check out the John Clellan BTCC livery. I can't talk. Livery. There we go. Pretty nice. So okay, what can we do from the back of the grid? It's a track I know pretty well. So although I'm new to the car, it's pretty easy to drive. Should be able to do something from back here. A lot of understeer in this first corner. I'm used to driving mid-engine cars as well. My driving style sort of suits mid-engine, so as soon as I get in something like this, front engine, rear wheel drive, it's just, oh god, the understeer. Really have to throw them into the corner more, and I don't sort of naturally tend to do that. I sort of have to constantly remind myself that, you know, I'm driving this big heavy engine in the front and I need to just be throwing it about. So we picked up that 5-second penalty there as I was rambling on about driving styles. That guy just was pretty much stationary through the first part of that chicane there, so I couldn't really do a lot about it. It's going to make me really cautious for the latter half of this first lap though. So look through here, look, I'm just... coasting the car through. You might think I'm being too cautious, but that's exactly why. You never know what these guys are going to do. So, alright, up into 17th now. But with a lot of ground to make up. And again, struggled with the understeer there, but I think it's just the nature of this car really. Loads of grip, pretty good. If you're not giving it a go, I'd give it a go. It's probably, I don't know if it's that competitive really in Group 3. I think it's more the sort of car you drive if it's just one that you got really comfortable with, you know, and you knew it really well and you could just push instantly in it. For me, I'm not really sure what it offers over something like the Evo or the Corvette. That Citroen's probably quite nice to drive around here. Didn't give that a go. I was very close to picking the 911, but I've driven the 911 quite a bit, and I just fancied this Genesis. I hadn't realised that I'd got this up to go too deep into the hairpin. As I was going to say, I didn't realise I had this livery, which is when I decided to drive the Genesis. I was just looking at what liveries I had for it. This is the only one I had. Yeah, it looked pretty nice in my replay, so I thought why not? Whipping out the BTCC livery in the Nations. I didn't see any other Genesises on the grid, so something a bit different, I guess. But yeah, ultimately not that competitive. I reckon that Citroen, the Evo, the Viper, the Corvette, the 911, probably all would have been better choices in hindsight, but never mind. Thought I'd give it a shot. So down to 18th again. As we come to the end of lap 2, not looking too good. It is good on the curbs though. That's pretty much the main reason I chose it. Although most of the cars are okay on back curves, it's all about getting the angle right, to be honest with you. You need to get the car pointing in a certain direction so that your trajectory over the curve is at a certain way. Otherwise, if you're at a slight angle to it, it will just unsettle the car. But if you're pretty much hitting it straight on, the car should clear the sausage curb. It tends to be just if you hit it at a dodgy angle, that's when you'll get launched. Or if the car's maybe still trying to load up a little bit on one of the corners, you need to be pretty much straight over the curb. But that's the key to that corner, you need to be just straightened up early. Which is why I don't think the curves are too bad, because they just force you to drive that corner properly. We had a spinner there, came back straight across the track. I'm so thankful that he was ghosted, because there was no way I was avoiding that. But luckily the ghosting worked a treat and we went straight through. Keep going deep into there. Like I said, I think it's just getting used to the front engine. Genesis, really. Possibly the brake bias isn't ideal. And I'm probably not turning in hard enough as well, so a combination of all those things really. Still struggling at the back of this race, so we're 16th now thanks to that spin. That's not brilliant. Got a couple of cars up ahead, but we seem to be catching a little bit. As the Citroen spins behind. You need to be careful getting the throttle on in mid-engine cars when you're going over the curves, because when you land, very easy with some throttle on as you land, just spin up the tyre on your landing and that'll be enough to pitch the car. So we pick up 15th now. This guy goes off the track. I've had a few encounters with this Momo's French driver before, so I'm a little bit wary of him. Not too sure what he's going to do. But I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, you know. In the toe. Going to be cautious, I've lifted early and very early on the brakes there. Look at the guy behind as well, nearly into the back of us. So I'm nearly into the back of him, the guy behind is nearly into the back of me. He's looking around the outside, I've left him just enough. Don't have to leave him anything there really, it's not the sort of place I'd be looking around the outside, so I think he backs out of it just in time. But yeah, I mean that was nearly a bit of a pile up there, not too sure what happened. But so I think he was just a bit early on the brakes, I'm not sure what else we can say. Wide there, he needs to be more over that curb. You can see what I mean about the Genesis, can't you? It's not really strong anywhere, but it's good everywhere. So it's just a good all-rounder. I'm trying to think on... I think it would be a good sort of car for an endurance race, something like that. I'm trying to think of a track where I might want to use it again. But I'm struggling, to be honest, I'm not sure. I think somewhere like Seaside, Dragon Trail Seaside, probably another good track for it. That's just anywhere with the curves, I suppose, really. It will struggle at Monza with the straights, obviously. You're always going to be losing out to the Mustang. Oh, the Mustang might have been a choice for this race, actually. Forgot about that. Because that's probably quite stable over the curbs as well. The Mustang would have probably been a better choice than this. I'm not sure what it's like on fuel, though. it's too bad. But yeah, I think the Mustang, the Corvette, the Evo, they would have been probably better choices, but never mind. A little bit tail happy there. Right, as we finish lap 6 onto lap 7, that's pretty much the end of stint 1. So it just cut us to the end of lap 7, into the pits. Not amazing on fuel. Wasn't really fuel saving. So out of the pits in 15th on lap 8. See if we can attack this Spaniard and Evo in front. Doffer behind. Alright, so from the 14th, slowly getting there. So look at this guy coming out of the pits. It's going to be very tight into turn 1. Well, I suppose this is turn 1, turn 2 then. Little look, but he shuts the door quite firmly, so I'll back out of it, I don't want any contact. Porsche behind gets a little bit loose over that curve. Again, that's the strength of the Genesis, but very strong over the curves. So is the Evo though. He's just going to pull away, I think, even with the slipstream. You'll see that quite clearly on the last lap coming out of the last turn. I have quite a good final set to him in the last lap, catching a couple of cars in front. I've got a good, better drive out of the last corner, and I'm in their slipstream, and still they just pull away. So I think we just don't quite have the horsepower, or we've got a little bit too much drag, perhaps. But we've got good stability for the curves at the chicane. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, there's plus, there's positives and negatives, upsides and downsides. No, I'd like to try and bring something a bit different to the grid as well when I can. So tyres are looking pretty good. Still lapping at the same sort of pace that I was lapping before, so tend to be quite good on tyre wear. Tend to have fairly consistent lap times. Without too much drop off towards the end of the stint. Apart from obviously in the MR cars, when I'm in the 458 Ferrari, massive lap time drop off with the tyre wear. But something like this, not too bad. So I'm starting to close up on these guys a little bit. Look. Not sure if they're struggling for tyres or just fighting a little bit, or just perhaps a little bit of both, but definitely making up some ground. Plenty of laps left to go, so could have a little bit more movement in the second stint maybe. What can we do? Definitely we're looking at this Italian in front in the Porsche. Seems sliding a little bit through there. A little bit of a wobble on turning. So that's a sign really that he's starting to struggle. He's got 4 laps left. So I'm not going to expect to be able to get too close to him through turn 1. Might close him down a little bit through the brakes into turn 2 of the chicane, or sort of through 3. If I can be close enough through the top of the chicane onto that straight, but I'm in the slipstream, then it's about as good as we can hope for, really. Not expecting to be too close through here. I'll have the understeer through turn 1. If I can close up enough through here. A little slide through the chicane, that might just be okay. Just about in the slipstream, so pretty much what I wanted. Yep, lovely. Right, so we just completed lap 13, onto the start of lap 14, but I've cut us to the start of lap 15, the last lap, because not too much happened lap 14. I'm not sure much is going to happen on the last lap either, but might as well ride on board for the last lap. Have a look at the tyres and the fuel and stuff. Serve that penalty, nice and out of the way. So it was a shame that penalty. I got that right at the start of the race, didn't I? Just carried it the whole way. I don't think I could have done much to avoid it, but it's just because I got such a rubbish qualifying, so just one of them. I am sort of thinking at this point, I wonder if these two are going to just have a little battle, and maybe they'll just sort of either give each other a penalty or just hold each other up a little bit. So I'm still trying to just push at the end here, because I can sense there might be a little couple of positions to have. But like I said, I just don't quite seem to have enough power on the straights in the Genesis. So look, we're gaining. Fairly good exit. Come on, get on the power, third gear. Maybe a bit late on the power. I'm just going to drive away. But I mean, I might have not quite got as good an exit as I thought there. Probably could have been on the power sooner in third gear. But still, with the tow, you'd expect to be a bit closer. But anyway, not the best, 13th, but from 19th, I guess it's okay. And the Hyundai Genesis, I'm not sure. I quite like it. It's pretty easy to drive, but I think it's just pretty average everywhere. But I quite liked it anyway. There we go, 13th for my Season 2 Round 7 of the Nations. Alright guys, I hope you're well, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.